Thank you. And I would like to remind you about the permaculture. It's something, a special
Excellent.
kind of culture. Yes.
Fantastic. We can talk about that too then. Let's start with the main ideas first, though. This was the article about ethical beauty and how maybe the beauty industry is changing or doing some different things, or maybe being used in a slightly different way that could maybe have some positive benefits. So tell me, what do you remember and what do you think about all of this?
I remember just a few moments, and it was about maybe some brands, and they provide their culture, and it's about the beauty should be not only about the selfishness, but also about you have to care about the nature and the culture and mainstream. It's I have to say it's about the about maybe the it is just like absolutely someone join us. Nice. So it's about the you should to be in the culture, and you should to be the someone who is maybe play the rules of this culture, and about the green greenwashing, and about some justification of your existing in the industry is main for example is not for example, but in that case is, for my opinion, is the main case because the people make their action like that. So I'm not, excuse me, today I am too messy, but I mean it's only about greenwashing and justification of their existence. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, no problem. Let's see. Hi, Youssef. I don't know if you had a chance to look at the article at all.
Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing very great. No, I didn't. To be honest, I just came home and I just decided to join the session. So I had no idea what the topic was about.
Okay, no problem.
And I'm sorry about this.
No, that's fine. Hopefully we can still find some things to talk about. I might explain some of the other main points in it as well. And I'm sure that we can still find aspects of this to kind of discuss. But the article was about the beauty industry, really, and some of the things that it's currently doing to try to have like a positive change on the world. As you could just hear from what Konstantin says, he thinks it's a little bit of, he's a little bit skeptical about this. He's a bit cynical, maybe we could say, about it. But
as always, yes, as
would that
always.
be right? That's okay. We can talk about that. That's not a problem. So it was talking about how the beauty industry can be used to help with mental health. And it talked a little bit about not only things to do with beauty, but things to do with like hygiene as well, like a haircut, for example, or having hygiene products. So it talked a little bit about how the beauty industry can help with mental health. It talked a bit about the idea of self-care and community. So maybe how these kind of beauty products or the beauty industry can help to create a community. And also the environmental side of this, the idea of like using ethical ingredients, sustainable ingredients, paying attention to where the materials are coming from, what the materials are, to try to help the environment as well.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I have. Okay, thank you. So, but what, like, did the article give some example what the beauty industry or the beauty product they're talking about? Is it my makeup, for example? Is it what's the specific beauty tools or product they use as an example?
They used a lot of different things as examples, actually. Let's see, Konstantin, do you remember any of the examples they used?
Yeah, sure. It's maybe some, it's Porsche brands. It's some brands like some provide brands. I don't want to say their names, but you can maybe imagine like Dior, like something like that. So I don't know what else. I know, to be honest, a lot of expensive brands. So I don't want to mention it. I don't want to make an advertising to them. So it's about lots of brands, and they allegedly they care about the earth. They care about the environmental impact. So they start to be enough. They start to be absolutely nice, and they start to give us absolutely amazing products, and they product from special ingredients that grows in the special conditions, and so it's about absolutely providing the naturally growing products. It is maybe about some special and very popular brands start to declare their position as supporting of the sustainable culture, and they start to support nature, and they provide a lot of plastic, but they say we are start to be we are start to be more recyclable, reusable. So we start to new. You buy not the only us, but you buy us by new us. We are absolutely new. We are start to recycling, and we start to be new, and support the culture of support of environment. Yes, and excuse me, and it was horrible, I know, but excuse me, just my attempt to explain it.
No problem. It's okay. We know that it's just your opinion. So, yeah, I think probably when they were talking about, the products that were trying to use more natural ingredients or thinking about like packaging, for example. Okay, with those kinds of products, it was talking more about like makeup, but not just makeup. And the other areas that they were talking about when they were talking about the mental health and community, for example, they were talking about a much broader range of beauty services. So they're not really focusing on makeup at all, actually. They're focusing on things like, okay, so makeup, but also skincare, hairdressing. So going to a hairdresser or going to a barber, for example. So I think it mentioned like men's skincare products as well. It talked about basic hygiene items, like shampoo, conditioner, soap, sanitary products. It talked about more fancy, I guess, more expensive things like spa treatments, massages, these kinds of things. So it was pretty broad with the type of example it was using. It wasn't just focused on, like sustainable makeup, for example. It was kind of a much wider range of beauty services. Does that help?
Yeah, it did. But what's the relation between this beauty product and the environment, and the nature? I mean, how it can help the nature and the environment. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
They told us they are very relate. It's just justification. They have to say us we are very related to saving our planet. So we are completely new. We are start to doing their project. It's just I'm not sure, but it's a well-known branch of in the beauty industry, and I don't want to say their name. You know it already, but they say we start to be new. We start to be something. We start to our new politics about environment, and we completely new. We support, and we are very useful for environment. Start this time. So excuse me, but it is only my maybe expression before after I reading, but I am not sure. Maybe I am wrong. Excuse me.
Maybe it's. I would say that it's maybe not so much about them saying we're completely new, we're helpful for the environment. I think it's more about reducing the impact they have on the environment, or trying to reduce the damages that they currently cause, if that makes sense. So I just posted a little bit from the article that I think kind of summarizes it a little bit.
Yeah, and this paragraph is just mentioned how they cause some issue to the environment.
Exactly. Right? So this paragraph was talking about, two ways, basically, two common ways that they cause damage. So these are two areas that they're kind of working on to change so that they're not causing these kinds of problems, or they're thinking about the effects of it. So, for example, they're talking about, products that end up in the oceans, in the water systems. So one of the changes that they might be making is making sure that whatever ingredients they use are okay to kind of go into the water system. I don't know if that really exists, but
Well, okay, no.
it's maybe,
But
let's say it's less damaging.
okay, so less damaging because it's going to damage somehow, right? Even when you throw it in
Yeah.
the water. Mhm.
Yeah, I think unless it's something that's really, really natural, that's going to kind of break down by itself, or that we would normally find in water, it's probably going to have an effect on the water system anyway.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm not sure what question to ask you both today. Maybe, hang on, let me have a look at the.
You can ignore me because you can consider me as just a participant. But Constantine, you have a lot of questions to ask him because he was here.
I don't think he wants to answer the questions either. Okay, let me ask you both this question. I think this one's an easy one. How much attention do you both pay to the ingredients that are in like the products you use? Okay. So when I say products, think of things like soap, shampoo, I don't know, even
Yeah,
things
because we
like
don't use makeup.
I'm guessing that you no judgment, I'm guessing you both don't use makeup though, but if you do, that's okay as well. So but do you pay attention to the ingredients and to the packaging?
Can I talk?
Sure, go ahead.
For me, no, I don't. Even shampoo, like for example, if I'm going to take shampoo as an example, I don't care what shampoo I'm using. The most important thing for me is just take a shower and use whatever I have. And even I'll be honest with you, even I don't care about the quality also. No, I'm not saying like I'm going to bring or get like a worse thing, like a bad thing. But as long as it's acceptable, the smell, the function of the shampoo, so I'm good. This is an example of the shampoo. Same thing for all other beauty products. Probably if I am going to consider the clothes as a beauty product, yeah, probably the clothes I put some intention, but not as I used to do when I was younger. Right now, probably the priority is different, and yeah, the more you grow, the more you are responsible more. So you don't care about some stuff that you valued in the past. One of them, for me at least, it's a beauty product. I'm not saying I'm just ignoring myself and don't take good care of myself, but I believe that people who are over taking care of themselves, they put attention in even the small details, and it's going to be one of these considerations is the product, but for me, no. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, so you would say that this isn't something that concerns you so much then about the ingredients they're using, or the type of ingredients, or the effects that they could have, maybe. Constantine, what about you? Do you pay attention to the ingredients in these kinds of products?
Yes, sure. But to be honest, I prefer to have short hair. So about care about my hair, I'm enough by the common soap, but not by some special shampoo or something like that or and it was for me it's maybe kind of invention. I was surprised. You have an ability to not spend additional external money to buy a shampoo. You just have to buy a soap, and this is enough to wash your hand and also your hair. And maybe it is my only invention, but I already very surprised by it. Thank you.
Okay, so it sounds like you're both very, very minimalist when it comes to these kinds of products as well, which is making this discussion a little bit more difficult too. But that's okay. I think when we're thinking about these kinds of products, you could also think of things like shaving gel or deodorant. I'm trying to think of other things, even things like toothpaste. What other kinds of things? I'm trying to think of maybe other kinds of products maybe that would be included as part of this that maybe you use or maybe not. But okay, it sounds like you're both very minimalist when it comes to these kinds of products. And to kind of your interest in them as well. Let's say it that way. Okay. Yes, I think we're missing a few other people who would have been helpful to talk about this topic a bit more. But that's okay. We can still talk about that. We can just talk about it from different aspects. One part of this that I wanted to ask both of you actually was about this idea that using these kinds of products sometimes, or taking the time maybe to get some of these treatments, or even just to do the basics, for example, getting your hair cut, maybe shaving, something like this, shaving your beard. Some of these things can help you kind of feel better in a way as well. So do you think these kinds of treatments can be helpful, for example, for your mental health? Or do you think that they're just kind of basic things that you do and no, they don't really have any connection? What do you both think about this? For example, do you feel better about yourself? And, if you go to get your hair cut, do you feel good afterwards? Or are you just, okay, cross that off my list. Okay, I don't have to do that for a few weeks. Done, fine.
I'm sorry, but the question was like if we see it as a hygiene procedure or the question refers to something else?
Yeah, the question was kind of if you see that there's like benefits for your mental health for maybe doing some of these, like, I don't want to really call it a beauty treatment, but if you taking care, for example, of your hair or your skin or something like this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'll go. I will go first. Constantine, I'm sorry. So for me, to be like fully honest, it has to be from a beauty aspect somehow, but at the same time, it must be also like how you feel. For example, if I'm going to take a beard as an example, I thank you, Konstantin. For example, the beard as an example, it's if you are going to let it grow for a long time, it's going to bother you somehow and give you some uncomfortable feeling. But at the same time, it's also when you shave it, it's going to be for beauty purposes as well. So yeah, so it's kind of has a two or several purposes. And for sure, yeah, even the other things, like even the other hygiene process and hygiene actions or activity that you do, it's for me, it's going to target more than one purpose. Mental health, though. Yes, it affects your mood somehow. Like, personally, if I'm going to talk about myself, yeah, it affects my mood. For example, when I shave, I feel better. So yeah, it's going to lead to a better mental health. So I can say that the image that you work for, or your image that you do some effort to make it look better, it affects your mental health. And more important, it affects your feeling. And when it affects your feeling, so I believe it's kind of revive you, and your mood going to be get better, and you perform better wherever you are doing, whatever the thing that you are doing, or the function or the job or whatever. You feel better. And probably if you are, let's take an example, if you feel that you don't look good sometimes, you're probably going to feel uncomfortable talking to people. But when you feel like you are good in every aspect, your performance is going to be different. So yeah, that's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, great. So there's maybe a little bit of a connection there. Doing these kinds of things isn't just about hygiene, or it's not just about vanity, for example, wanting to look good. It can also just kind of help you, make you feel happier about yourself, or kind of give you a little bit of boost, maybe make you feel happy in some way. Konstantin, what do you think about this aspect of it?
I agree with Yusuf, and it just makes you feel more confident, or maybe something like that. But this not necessary, it's maybe is psychological special effect. Maybe not the effect. Maybe as distinctive things. Then you feel you are a man. You not need the something of you not feel be better. You are as you are. So you not to be not to be do some cosmetics or some special feelings, special maybe to special what is topic we talking about? Is about cosmetics, yes, and about some industry that change. So I am as a man do not need of this industry in general. So it's my maybe excuse me, and I'm perfectly honest. So excuse me, please. Thank you.
Remember, we're not just talking about things like. Could you see through the screen, Yusuf? I did almost go. Okay, but remember, when we talk about the beauty industry, I think I think the word beauty here, I think sometimes people get a bit, maybe when you relate it to things sometimes, we tend to think beauty, it's about being beautiful. And then we think, oh, being beautiful, it's just about women wanting to be beautiful. But I think the beauty industry also includes a lot of other things which aren't just about being beautiful. You know, if we think about some of the examples that they gave in the article, you know, the beauty industry also includes things like getting a haircut, using deodorant, you know, using soap, you know, being able to keep yourself clean, being able to keep your skin in a good condition, you know, even things like sunscreen, for example. Sunscreen is part of the beauty industry. You know, so these basic things, you know, cutting your fingernails, for example. Cutting your fingernails is part of the beauty industry. So I think it's, make sure you don't fall into kind of like the trap of thinking about the beauty industry just being about like hair and makeup, okay? Because it's about a lot of other things. And I think maybe if you didn't have some of these things, that you would maybe want to have some of those things. Like, I'm sure that both of you probably cut your nails, right? Or do you both have very, very long fingernails and toenails?
Yes, and also about the, you know, it's about your feet nails and about your legs nails. I don't know how it called proper.
Toenails.
Yes, but it is also related to all people. So I'm absolutely sure you're right. It's about not the only beauty of, it's not related the woman only, but about all the people. But I want to notice we have to some special abilities to save our beauty for times, but for example, times is change and times is gone, and the age of retirement is inevitable. So I am not the fan to save my beauty for the times, for the old times. And I realize I lost my beauty already, so we have to live with it. And how we have to live with it, this is a question. And our beauty industry gives us to some real so they gives us some uh, uh, decisions, and this is not about the save our beauty. It is I not believe uh, uh, to content maybe for all times. Uh, some age or something like that. So I'm not sure, but beauty industry in general makes no sense. And excuse me, please. Thank you.
Okay, maybe it doesn't make so much sense to you, but I think for other people, maybe it would make a little bit more sense. I think most people even if they wouldn't call themselves beautiful, I think most people still like to kind of feel good and feel like they look good, or at least they feel like they look as good as they can possibly look, whatever that is for you. So, and I think even these basic hygiene products that we use, which is still part of the beauty industry, even just the use of these products, I think most people would, want to use and kind of be happy to use. So we kind of need the beauty industry still, because it covers these personal hygiene things as well. And these things I think are important. I don't think we should give up on these things. If you've ever been in a bus in the middle of summer, you'll know that personal hygiene and especially deodorant are very, very important things. I do not want those industries to go away. So let's not equate the beauty industry with trying to look beautiful. Okay, it's not necessarily the same thing here. But maybe we should talk a little bit about the environmental side of things, because maybe that's another part of this that's a little bit easier to talk about as well. So how much responsibility do you think these companies should have in kind of the types of ingredients that they're using, the types of packaging that they have? Do you think they need to be changing these things, or they need to be kind of investigating these two areas a little bit more? Or do you think it's not so important? So, Yusuf, you think it's about the fact that they're going to continue kind of making these kinds of products, so they just have to kind of mitigate the problems as much as they can, try to reduce the negative parts as much as possible, because they're obviously still going to cause some kind of damage.
Yes, that's what I think today, because even the industry, with the lot of money they make, it's there's no option to stop working and doing the same thing. As long there is customers, as long they will exist, people also they are aware that it's probably going to be very bad for the environment. Not only the beauty industry, but probably every industry in the world right now, it has to make some side effects, and most of them they are bad to the environment, but they has no option. And the government is going to be a very it's my opinion, it's going to be a very bad idea to even stop them by a law. Even you can see that there are a lot of rules and law, international laws, but the company, probably a lot of them, they don't respect this law. They make the law just for the environment and to make our environment better, but they still don't care about the law. And the governments, they know, but because it's related with money, with some benefits, so they have nothing to do or nothing to say. So the best thing, or the only thing that you can get, or like you can do right now, is just asking them and begging them to kind of like reduce the effects and the predictable effect that we will get from these industries. So that's why I believe it's as I said, it's impossible to stop them, but so I hope they have to reduce the negative sides. And when I say this, it's going to be well, they already did it, but they keep going with the law as much as possible and the rules as much as possible, although a lot of them they don't respect it. And some strict and serious serious decision when someone use illegal action to the environment, but because not only the human it's affected by these actions, also animals and the environment in general. So the better thing is try to reduce the negative sides. Thank you.
Okay, great. What do you think about this, Konstantin?
I'm not sure, but I'm almost 100% agree with Youssef. It's about using some resources, and it just I told it before. It's just about the greenwashing and about the justification of and making better their sales on sales, and it is about marketing and using some words like we hear, like we heard, and about we care about the future, about the humanity, and about just I don't believe in that, because it is maybe a lot of money behind, and the you want, for example, to save your money. It is maybe over I'm not sure, but overlap, but overcame and over something over that make you feel more stronger than the idea the about save the planet or something like that. So the big business doing in these rules, so they want to save their money, and business like Garnier or something like biggest industries, they want to save their money, so they use such kind of messages, and they declare we are about nature, and we want to save the nature, and this is the only condition to continue of their existing. So they realize it and they use it in their corporate politic. Thank you.
Okay, so you feel like it's just like a marketing tool, really, that when they talk about using, natural ingredients or changing the packaging to be, less harmful for the environment, you feel like it's just a marketing tool, really, to
Exactly. And they have this This article is only the pay article to feel people to their in the um, uh, sustainable development or way to aim to save the planet. But I'm sure almost the biggest business it is only about to save their money. Thank you.
Okay, what do you think about this, Yusuf? Do you think that this talk about, sustainability, natural ingredients, things like this, do you think they are actually trying to change things, or do you think it's just like a marketing strategy?
Well, I'm not sure, to be honest, but in my opinion, it could be both. Um, I believe that some organization they have like a very innocent intention, and they try to tell the world that we need to organize our consumption and the way that we consume, um, the ingredients from the nature and how we use it, and we need to be realistic and aware about the consequences that could happen to the world. But at the same time, I believe that everything is about money. So when money comes in the table, I believe that even governments, um, they probably going to be and tolerate some illegal ways. So probably yes, I agree at some degree with Constantine. Probably they just use it just as marketing, and they don't really uh, mean this. And for example, I'll probably this going to be, uh, not, I'm not going to not appropriate, but it's not going to be suitable in this for this session. But so let's say in general, like some powerful countries in the world right now, probably the first or the second, they claim that we need to focus on the nature and blah blah, but they it is a country that probably contain and have uh, like the most industry, if I can say, platform or uh, uh, you know how to say this industrial, how to say industrial um, company. Uh, yeah, and there are the first country that uh, caused the pollution in the air and in the world. But still, they are the first people, or the first authorities. They talk about we need to save our planet and blah blah blah. So yes, we cannot avoid the fact that a lot of people, or let's say a lot of powerful countries and governments and authorities, they claim something, and in the reality they do something else. So yeah, it could be hypocrisy, and it could be a kind of marketing. So yeah, so I probably I have a conclusion that nobody care about nature. Once the money came, as I said, once the money came on the target and came in the table, it's over. We don't follow any human or human rule, or uh, any manner rule. Unfortunately, that's it. That's what I think. Yeah.
Okay, great. It sounds like you're both on the same wavelength today, actually, with this as well. So there's probably more than one factor involved here, and I guess we can't really generalize about every single company in the industry. So there are probably some of it who are just, trying to maintain their profits and make sure that they stay in business, and probably some other ones which are actually doing it more in a more well-meaning way, let's say. You know, they actually do want to provide something that maybe won't be as harmful for us or for the earth. So we've probably got examples from both sides of it here. Probably as a last question for today. I don't know if I have a last question for today. What else do you both think? What else can we add about this area or about this topic? Okay. One of the other sustainable things that they talked about, Konstantin, you reminded me about this at the start, but we forgot to talk about it. One of the other ways they were talking about being sustainable, about being ethical, was actually about the way where they get the raw materials from. So, for example, if they're using plants, for example, or extracts from plants as part of the ingredients, they were talking about, you know, being aware of where these ingredients are coming from and the kind of farming practices as well that are being used in the places that they're sourcing these materials from. Konstantin, I think you were going to tell us a little bit about permaculture, right?
Yes, sure, but I'm not an expert in the permaculture, but I maybe try to explain it to you in the few words, in the few very simple words, and then you see some natural landscape. So you see the also trees and the plants, and they grow together. And maybe the idea to have this environment and to just maybe imitate or maybe to I'm not sure, but it is like just attempt to copy the natural process. So if you have some natural area, so and you have to continue, and you have to maybe make it grow, and just I just remember, you know, if I'm if in case I worry, I just to became stuck off or something like that, and I forget all the words, but it's very impossible because then continue some natural process. It just you not the participate as you disrupt, as you involve the process, just like not the someone who change something, but someone who just observing something, and you for example, you have your plant and it is should be surrounded by forest and surrounded by natural environment. You already have So you don't, you shouldn't remove trees or something like that. You should grow your plants around the trees, and you should work in with environment with already exists. And maybe also the permaculture is about use only naturally provided ingredients, and it is almost only about the nature provided things. Thank you, and excuse me, please. I'm so messy today. Thank you.
No problem. I think that was a clear explanation, really. It's about, a farming practice that means that you're not disrupting the normal arrangements of things, really. You're kind of working with the natural area instead of against it, not really forcing it to do something that it wouldn't do naturally, which is obviously going to be better for the environment, right? So, on that note, if neither of you have anything else to add about maybe the beauty industry and these ideas about it being more ethical or being able to bring some other benefits, we might stop here for today. But we managed. We got to speak about it for an hour. So maybe it was a little bit of a tough topic, but I think you both did well to talk about it. There's always some aspect of it we can find to talk about. So thank you both very much. I hope you enjoyed the session, and hopefully I will see you both again very soon. Thank you. Bye.